Hello everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Mike. Sam?
Oh, sorry, I'm Sam.
You're looking at pictures of Amsterdam, aren't you?
Yes, it's so beautiful.
It is beautiful, and there's so much to do. You might notice that we're both holding these clipboards. You've got a photo album there of sort of tourist pictures. That's because, as we've learned so far in Amsterdam Beyond the Flowers, there is so much to do in this rather small city. It really isn't a big city, but we've learned there is so much to do. Yesterday, of course, we learned about the bikes and the 500 kilometers of bike paths, the canals and the different ways people get around. Today, we're going to be learning about the tulips. Let me look at, I don't want to forget anything. That's why we have everything written down. There's a national birthday for the king. And then there's a lot of museums to check out. One of the oldest museums has over 8,000 amazing things inside.
Yeah, there's some of the pictures from that here.
Right, and do you have pictures of another museum, probably one of the smaller museums in the whole world, Anne Frank's house?
Yes. Oh, wow. Ooh, I'm so excited to learn more.
People lived in there for years? That's crazy. And of course, there's concert halls, 9,000 monuments, 1,500 bars and cafes. There's so much to do, so let's get to it because there's a lot to check out in Amsterdam. Beyond the what? Beyond the...
Flowers.
I almost forgot about the flowers. There's so much else.
Mild weather makes Amsterdam a wonderful city to visit all year round, but it's at its best in spring. Throughout April, nature takes center stage during Amsterdam's Tulip Festival. Walk among more than 500,000 tulips bursting with color in gardens and parks all around the city. One of the dearest holidays in the Netherlands is King's Day, when the Dutch honor the birthday of King Willem-Alexander. Every April 27th, nearly 1 million people dress in orange, the country's national color, to attend concerts, watch boat parades, and shop at huge outdoor markets. April is also when Amsterdam celebrates National Museum Week, which is fitting for the city with the highest urban concentration of museums in the world.
Okay, let's go ahead and jump right into our reading of Amsterdam Beyond the Flowers, Part 2. So, our reading goes, mild weather makes Amsterdam a wonderful city to visit all year round, but it's at its best in spring. Throughout April, nature takes center stage during Amsterdam's Tulip Festival. Walk among more than 500,000 tulips bursting with color in gardens and parks all around the city.
Whoa, 500,000 tulips?
Yeah.
That's more tulips than I've seen in my entire life put together. That's a lot of tulips. So the spring is a good time to visit if you're a tulip fan. And there are actually a lot of tulip fans in the world.
Yeah, it's a really popular festival.
It's a beautiful flower, absolutely. So, you know, the spring is a good time to visit. But the spring is a great time to visit for other reasons as well. As we read on, it says one of the dearest holidays in the Netherlands is King's Day. That's right. When the Dutch honor the birthday of King Willem-Alexander. Every April 27th, we read, nearly 1 million people dress in orange, the country's national color, to attend concerts, watch boat parades, and shop at huge outdoor markets. All of those things sound a lot of fun, and it's a good chance to wear your best orange clothing because, yeah, strangely, even though the Dutch flag is like white, red, and blue, their national color is orange.
Yeah.
So their soccer team wears orange, I seem. Their football team, they wear orange.
I mean, orange is kind of a fun color, but I feel like orange doesn't necessarily look good on a lot of people.
That's a good point. And also, the other strange thing is that orange comes from the family name of that old king. The Dutch royal family is the House of Orange. I'm not sure why, but there you go. It's a good time to wear those orange pants. you're never allowed to wear any other time because they're orange pants.
And you don't maybe not want to look like a carrot.
Exactly, exactly. But it's the springtime in Amsterdam, so put on your orange.
Okay, and in our reading we had this word concert. So concert is a noun, and that just means a public musical performance. I think a lot of people probably recognize this word when they hear it. Maybe you've been to some famous singer's concert, or you've been to like an orchestra concert. You've seen all this kind of like any kind of performance of music that you could go and you can watch. That would be a concert. And so we have the sentence for this word. We have lots of people are headed to the park for tonight's concert.
Oh, okay, an outdoor concert.
Yeah,
That would be
something
really nice.
really popular in America, actually. In the summer, we have a
summer.
lot of outdoor concerts.
Great weather for it. You can see, classical, jazz concerts, rock, pop, all sorts of styles of music. So you'll have that in Amsterdam in the spring. And here's another reason to go during April. It says April is also when Amsterdam celebrates National Museum Week. They have a National Museum Week, and the article tells us which is fitting for the city with the highest urban concentration of museums in the world. So the most museums in any city in the world, basically, or at least in a small area in a city. So if you think that, Paris is full of museums, well, it is. New York City, of course, great museums there. But if you want the most museums for your euro, the most museums to find in one small place, Amsterdam is the place to go. This urban concentration, telling you it's easy to get to all of these museums.
Yes, but if you do go, make sure you book your tickets for those museums before. Plan a little bit ahead.
Oh, book them online.
Yeah, because I went
tip.
recently in 2019.
Oh, really?
And basically every museum was sold out for the time that we were there.
If you go that day hoping to get a ticket,
it didn't happen.
So like a week, 2 weeks, a month before?
I actually don't even know because again, we weren't able to get tickets, but I would say when you plan your trip, just book them then.
That's a good idea. Book your flight, book your hotel, then book your museums.
Yeah. And so we had this word urban in this last bit of reading. So urban is anything related to the city. So you've got like urban life, that's city life versus rural life. Rural means out in the country, not in a big city. So in this case, we had been talking about there's a lot of museums in this urban center, right? So in this city area. So we have a sentence for the word urban. We have over half of the world's population lives in urban areas. So meaning most of the people who live in the world, they live in some sort of city rather than out in the country or out in rural areas.
Exactly. Anyway, they talked about an urban concentration. When we have a concentration of something, we're generally kind of talking about the density of something. How much of something is in an area? And when we talk about a large concentration, there's a lot of stuff in one area. For example, the cities of Taiwan, you would see a large concentration of convenience stores. Sure, you can find convenience stores out in the countryside, but maybe one in, 5-kilometer area. Whereas in the city, you would find one convenience store in a 50-meter or 100-meter area. Many of something in a small area. That is talking about a concentration. Low concentration, not a lot. A high concentration or a large concentration, a lot in a small area. For example, this neighborhood has a large concentration of wealthy people. In other words, a lot of wealthy people live in this neighborhood. That's kind of what we're talking about there. And there would also be a large concentration of tulips in Amsterdam. Yeah, very large concentration of that. All right, let's take a break and we'll be back with more because we've got so much more to get through, including a museum with a weird name. Come back and check it out.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。第一天的课程提到阿姆斯特丹有缤纷的文化活动，那我们来看看有多么缤纷。课文就写到说，温和的天气啊，让阿姆斯特丹成为一年四季都适合造访的美好城市。不过，春天是最好的季节，在整个4月，漫步在城里各个花园和公园里面，你可以看到缤纷怒放的郁金香，有超过50万株哎。那我们学一下 tulip。Tulip 就是郁金香的意思。那么4月还有一个重要节日是国王日，是为了庆祝威廉亚历山大国王的生辰。每一年4月27日呢，就有将近100万人会穿着橘色去参加音乐会啊，然后看船只游行等等。那为什么要穿橘色衣服呢？听起来超难驾驭的啊！其实它是荷兰王室与国家的代表色。那么另外4月也是阿姆斯特丹庆祝国家博物馆周的时候，这个城市啊，它是世界上博物馆都会集中度最高的城市。我们来看单字 concert。concert 表示音乐会或是演唱会，那我们用 concert hall 用来指音乐厅的意思。那么 urban 是形容城市的或是都会区的。concentration 它可以表达集中、汇集，也可以表达浓度。那我们可以用 a high concentration 或者是 a large concentration of 来表达什么什么高度集中的意思。这时候 Mike 老师他用到 density 这个字 density 表示密度。那这边3个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，来看第一个重点是 make somebody or something 加上名词或形容词，是表达使某人或某事物成为怎么样，变得怎么样。那么动词 make 在这边是指使成为，使变得。我们就来造2个例句。The news made her sad 那个消息使她很难过。His performance in the movie made him a superstar 他在那部电影里面的演出使他成为超级巨星。第2个重点是副词片语 all year round 是指一年到头，全年底。例如 The amusement park is open all year round 那间主题游乐园呢是全年无休的。好，第3个重点是 at one's best 它是指说某人处于最佳状态、全胜状态，或是某事物它是最好的、最高水准的。例如 Richard is an early riser He's at his best in the morning Richard 是早起的人，他在早上是处于最佳状态。那我们接回到课文中。
The Rijksmuseum, one of Amsterdam's most famous museums, displays around 8,000 objects of art and history. Another well-known site is the Anne Frank house, where the young diarist and her family hid from the Nazis during World War II. The house now serves as a museum examining discrimination in all its forms. Amsterdam boasts more than 50 concert halls and theaters, over 9,000 monuments, and around 1,500 bars and cafes. There is certainly no lack of attractions, entertainment, or history in this colorful city.
All right, so we are back in Amsterdam. There is so much more to do than look at flowers. We know that by now. And earlier, remember, I mentioned a museum with a really weird name. It actually looks weird, but it's an easy word to say, so don't be afraid. And we learned the name in the first sentence of our second part here, the Rijksmuseum. That's right, just don't say the J. That's why it's slightly odd. But the Rijksmuseum, one of Amsterdam's most famous museums, displays around 8,000 objects of art and history. Wow. 8,000 objects of art and history. I'd say it's one of the world's most famous museums. It's up there with the Louvre, the British Museum, or the Met in New York. It's a must-visit place to see in Amsterdam. Did you get into the Rijksmuseum? Oh no!
Nope.
Oh gee, you gotta book your tickets early.
Know.
It's a good reason to go back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, we were at off-peak time, so we really didn't go in the spring or anything like that.
Okay.
We went in like September,
Not
so
a popular time. No problem.
But no, it was a problem. We didn't get to go to any museums on that trip.
Yeah, you can go back.
Yes, but we get to go back. And so now if we continue on with our reading, we can find out another interesting place to visit in Amsterdam. We have another well-known site is the Anne Frank house, where the young diarist and her family hid from the Nazis during World War II. The house now serves as a museum examining discrimination in all its forms. Now, this is actually one I have been to on my first trip to Amsterdam in high school, actually.
Okay.
So quite a long time ago. I don't remember a ton, except I remember we had to wait in a long line, and the house was very small, and we had to very slowly make our way through it, but there were lots of really interesting pictures. A very cool place to visit.
Yeah, because it is actually a house, and it's where Anne Frank, her family, and some other Jewish people hid during World War II so that the German Nazis wouldn't grab them and throw them in jail. She was called a diarist because the famous book that Anne Frank wrote is The Diary of Anne Frank. That's the title. I would recommend that everyone to read that book. It is an amazing story, but someone who writes a diary and is kind of famous for it, we would call that person a diarist. So you went to the actual site where Anne Frank and her family were hiding. A site is a place. Generally a place where something important or interesting happened. For example, the field behind you is the site of a bloody battle that took place hundreds of years ago. Maybe the Battle of Waterloo or something like that, which actually isn't far from Amsterdam.
And now if we continue with our reading, we have Amsterdam boasts more than 50 concert halls and theaters, over 9,000 monuments, and around 1,500 bars and cafes. There is certainly no lack of attractions, entertainment, or history in this colorful city.
Those numbers are all right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
In kind of a really
It
not
is,
a big,
and they have water
huge
in this
area.
city too. How do they fit all this stuff in, all those little islands? That is incredible. Basically, you can walk a block in Amsterdam and you'll probably pass 2 or 3 museums, a few other historical sites, a
cafe,
couple
it'll all
of
be there.
So basically, you will never be bored in Amsterdam. I think we have shown that to be very true. There are many attractions there. What is an attraction? Well, when we're talking about it in a tourist kind of in the real world sense, we're talking about something interesting for people to see. Often we would put another word, tourist, a tourist attraction. Taipei 101, the Gugong, the National Palace Museum, a night market. You know, these types of things in Taipei are attractions. They're the types of things that tourists will come here to visit, that people will want to see, that maybe the city is also a little bit famous for, or something like that. The example sentence for attraction is, the tigers are the zoo's star attraction. I guess here in Taipei, the pandas.
Oh yeah.
Right, the
probably.
koalas, those are a big attraction, and the penguins. That's
And
a
the
big...
red panda too.
The red panda.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about him. Yeah, another good attraction. All right, so we have a question.
Yes, and our question is, what do you think? It's a what do you think question, and it is, what is unique about Amsterdam?
Everything.
Yeah, seriously.
Can I do a one-word answer? Everything. Amsterdam is a unique city. For one thing, it has canals. For another thing, it has way too many museums.
Yeah. Yes, so lots that is considered unique to Amsterdam.
Absolutely. So hopefully this has inspired you guys to put Amsterdam on your travel bucket list. Maybe you'll find yourself in line behind or in front of Sam at the Rijksmuseum, because you'll be there.
I'll be there.
You'll be there at some time, and I hopefully will be there too to see you guys. But before that, we'll see you back here for more great articles. Until then, how do you say bye-bye in Dutch?
Bye.
Bye. Probably bye. Bye.
同学们有读过或是听过安妮日记吗？课文介绍的另一个著名地点就是安妮之家，那是这一位年轻日记作者和他的家人在2战期间躲避纳粹的地方。那这个房子现在是用来作为审查各种形式的歧视的博物馆。好，文中用到 diarist， 就是 diary 日记去 y 加 ist 变成 diarist， 表示日记作者或是写日记的人。那么 Nazi 表示纳粹党人。再来看单字 site。Site, S-I-T-E， 它可以指地点、原址或是场所遗迹的意思。那课文最后有提到说，阿姆斯特丹有50多个音乐厅及剧院，有9000多个纪念碑，还有大约1500间的酒吧和咖啡简餐店。哇，这个缤纷的城市确实不缺景点、娱乐或是历史哦。我们来看单字 attraction，attraction 它可以表达有吸引力的人事物啊、景点或是表达吸引力。那我们常常会用 tourist attraction 来表达观光景点。那这边有一个重点，我们进入文法时间。 我们来看这个重点是 no lack of 加名词，表示不缺什么，不乏什么。lack 当名词可以表达缺乏、不足，常常会用 lack of something 来表达缺乏某事物，缺少了什么。no lack of something 则是表达不乏点点点，有的是点点点。例如 There is no lack of humor in this movie. 这部电影里面不乏幽默。好，那么以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Mild weather makes Amsterdam a wonderful city to visit all year round, but it's at its best in spring. Throughout April, nature takes center stage during Amsterdam's Tulip Festival. Walk among more than 500,000 tulips bursting with color in gardens and parks all around the city. One of the dearest holidays in the Netherlands is King's Day, when the Dutch honor the birthday of King Willem-Alexander. Every April 27th, nearly 1 million people dress in orange, the country's national color, to attend concerts, watch boat parades, and shop at huge outdoor markets. April is also when Amsterdam celebrates National Museum Week, which is fitting for the city with the highest urban concentration of museums in the world. The Rijksmuseum, one of Amsterdam's most famous museums, displays around 8,000 objects of art and history. Another well-known site is the Anne Frank House, where the young diarist and her family hid from the Nazis during World War II. The house now serves as a museum examining discrimination in all its forms. Amsterdam boasts more than 50 concert halls and theaters, over 9,000 monuments, and around 1,500 bars and cafes. There is certainly no lack of attractions, entertainment, or history in this colorful city.
Among the many specialty foods in Hualien is a unique treat called mochi. Mochi is a Japanese sticky rice snack that is often eaten as a dessert and can take on many different flavors. Well, I heard one of the best places for mochi in town is Zhenji Mochi, so let's go have a taste.
The best mochi in Hualien can be found at Zhenji Mochi. The first shop was opened more than 20 years ago by Mr. Dong Chunlong. At the shop near Hualien Station, you can see a bicycle, a motorcycle, a beetle car, and a foot-powered wooden grinder from the old times.
Ready to delve into the deliciousness of mochi?
Try this unique sugar apple mochi cake. The ice cream ma糬and the bamboo shoot mochi are popular items here. The handmade mochi gift box is such a bestseller that it has been seen carried on an F-16 fighter jet. The popular traditional mochi is freshly made in the shop without preservatives. So, the shop recommends you eat it within 1 or 2 days. That's not hard. They're incredibly tasty. Mr. Dong Chunlong says the spirit of Zhenji Mochi is about love and gratitude. Next time when you're in Hualien, stop by Zhenji Mochi and get a taste of its hearty desserts.
See you next time!